The stars stretched endlessly outside the viewport of the Silver Dawn, a small salvage ship drifting between forgotten battlefields of space. Wreckage floated silently across the void. Broken ships, shattered weapons, and the frozen remains of wars long over. Most people feared these places. To scavengers like Captain Vey and his crew, they were treasure fields. 17-year-old Ilara Vey pressed her face to the glass, eyes wide with wonder. She had grown up among rusting hulls and dark corridors, chasing shadows while her father worked. To her, the silence of dead ships wasn't frightening. It was exciting. Each wreck carried a story, and Ilara wanted to uncover them all. "Stay. On the ship, Ilara," her father warned, strapping his helmet. "This one's dangerous. I'll only be gone a few hours." She gave a half smile. "I'll stay." But she never meant it. As the salvage crew launched toward the derelict ship drifting ahead, Ilara pulled on her own light suit. She had learned how to sneak into shuttles since she was 12. Rules were meant to protect her, but they only made her more curious. Today, something inside her whispered that this ship was different, that she had to see it for herself. The derelict was massive, larger than any warship she had seen before. Its hull was marked with deep scars, as if torn by weapons beyond human design. Alien symbols stretched along its surface, glowing faintly despite centuries of silence. Her breath caught. This wasn't just another broken vessel. It was alien. Her father's team moved ahead, scanning sections of the hull, unaware of her presence. Ilara slipped away, sliding through a half-crushed airlock. Her boots clicked softly against the metal floor as she stepped inside. The air was thin, stale. Her helmet's lights cast long beams across dark corridors. Strange markings glowed faintly on the walls, pulsing like veins. She felt as if the ship itself was alive, watching her. Still, she pressed forward. Ilara had explored countless wrecks, but none felt like this. Every hallway seemed to lead deeper, as if guiding her toward something. She passed shattered doors and collapsed chambers, untouched for ages. Broken weapons lay scattered across the floor, glowing faintly with alien energy. Her heart pounded, faster with every step. Finally, she reached a sealed chamber. The door was smooth, silver-black metal, unbroken despite the ship's ruin. Strange lines spread across it like roots, meeting at a single symbol glowing faintly in blue. She touched it. The metal rippled like water. A hiss filled the air as the door opened, revealing a chamber lit by a soft golden glow. At its center stood a figure, not a person. Armor. It hung in the air, floating above a stone-like pedestal. Dark silver plates curved together like flowing water, etched with glowing symbols. A faint hum filled the chamber, vibrating in her chest. Ilara stared, unable to breathe. The armor seemed alive. She stepped closer, drawn as if pulled by invisible. "Strings. Beautiful," she whispered. Her hand lifted before she could stop it. The moment her fingers brushed the surface, light blazed through the chamber. The armor unfolded with a hiss, like a living creature awakening. Ilara gasped as pieces of the armor latched onto her arm, her chest, her legs. She tried to pull away, but the armor moved faster, wrapping around her body. "No! Stop!" she cried, stumbling back. But the armor tightened, fusing to her skin with a burning heat. Her vision blurred as symbols flashed before her eyes. Alien whispers filled her head, strange words echoing in languages she couldn't understand. Her knees buckled. For a moment she thought she would die. Then, silence. Ilara stood trembling, breath sharp in her chest. The armor had sealed itself completely around her body, glowing faintly along the edges. It felt impossibly light, as if it wasn't there at all. She raised her hand. The armor followed, sleek and smooth, shifting with her movements. A thought crossed her mind, and the armor obeyed. The helmet folded back, revealing her face. Her eyes widened. It wasn't just armor. It was alive. She stumbled to a cracked mirror-like surface on the chamber wall. The reflection staring back at her made her heart race. She looked like a warrior from some forgotten legend, invincible and unbreakable. The armor shimmered with shifting light, as though stars themselves were trapped within it. "What are you?" she whispered. The whispers in her head returned, softer this time. A strange warmth spread through her chest, and she understood a single word: Aegis. That was its name. Ilara lifted her arm again, and the armor reacted. Energy sparked at her fingertips, forming glowing patterns in the air. With a thought, the patterns shifted into a shield of pure light. Another thought, and the shield became a blade. Her heart pounded with fear and wonder. She was no longer just a scavenger's daughter. She was something more. "Ilara!" Her father's voice crackled through the comms. She froze. "Ilara, where are you? We're detecting strange readings. Get out of there now!" She tried to answer, but before she could, the entire ship shook. The chamber lights flared. A deep vibration rolled through the walls as if the wreck had awakened. Then she felt it. Eyes on her, far beyond the derelict ship. Something out there had noticed. Something ancient. Alarms blared in her father's ship. Across the stars, signals lit up. Alien factions who had long hunted for the eternal Aegis stirred as they felt its return. And at the heart of it all stood Ilara, the 17-year-old girl who should never have been here, now fused with power beyond imagination. She took a shaky breath, staring at the glowing armor on her hands. Whatever this was, she couldn't give it back, and she had no idea what would come next. But deep inside, she felt it. She was no longer helpless. She was invincible. The salvage ship Silver Dawn trembled as Captain Vey pulled his crew back inside. The derelict alien ship was coming alive with strange signals. Lights flickered across its broken hull, and unknown energy spread like veins through space. "Seal. The doors! Pull away!" he shouted. His crew scrambled, confused and afraid. None of them noticed Ilara stumbling back through the airlock, wrapped in the strange armor. She pressed herself against the wall, hiding her glowing hands. The armor was still shifting on her body, almost breathing with her. She felt its heartbeat, in her own chest. "Ilara?" Her father's voice was sharp as he turned. His eyes widened the moment he saw her. For a moment, silence. Then he whispered, "What have you done?" Ilara wanted to explain, but the words tangled in her throat. I just touched it," she said weakly. It came to me." The armor shimmered in response, as if alive. Her father stepped back, fear flickering in his eyes. He had seen many strange things in his years of salvage, but nothing like this. "That's not human tech," he muttered. "It's dangerous. Take it off." "I can't," Ilara said. She pulled at the edges, tried to remove the plates, but the armor clung to her skin like liquid metal. "It stuck to me." Her father's face hardened. "Then we'll cut it." He reached for a plasma tool. The moment the blade neared, the armor flared with light. Energy burst out, knocking the tool from his hands. Ilara gasped. She hadn't even meant to do it. The armor had defended her. "No one can touch it," she whispered. Her father stared, stunned. "God help us." That night, Ilara sat alone in her cabin. She stared at her reflection in the small mirror bolted to the wall. The armor had folded back, leaving her in normal clothes, but glowing lines still traced her skin like tattoos. She closed her eyes. The whispers came again. Strange words, alien voices. Then, flashes, images of enormous battles, ships tearing. Across the stars, warriors in shining armor like hers. She saw a world burning and a final stand against something monstrous. Her hands shook. The armor wasn't just a tool, it carried memories, and it had chosen her. Days passed. At first, she tried to hide it, but the armor responded whenever she felt danger, fear, or even excitement. When she slipped while climbing a ladder, it flared to protect her. When she grew angry during an argument, it lit up with energy. Finally, she stopped fighting it. She began to test it. Out in the empty cargo bay, Alara raised her hand. The armor responded, shaping a shield of light. She thought of striking, and a glowing blade formed. She tried to run, and the armor boosted her speed, carrying her across the bay like a comet. It wasn't just protecting her, it was teaching her. Each time she used it, she felt more connected, as if the armor itself wanted her to understand. But each time, the whispers grew louder too. Her father watched with heavy eyes. He wanted to forbid her, to lock her away, but deep down, he knew. There was no undoing what had happened. The armor wouldn't let go. "You have to be careful," he said one evening. "Things like this, they attract attention." He was right. Far away in hidden parts of the galaxy, alien factions stirred. Old sensors had detected the awakening of the eternal Aegis. On a barren moon, a warlord snarled as reports came in. "The Aegis lives again," he said, his voice like thunder. "Find it. Bring it to me." On a peaceful world of scholars, alien elders gathered in fear. If the armor has chosen a bearer, history may repeat itself. It must be contained before the galaxy burns again. And in secret corners, others whispered of opportunity. Whoever held the armor could control the stars. Alara had no idea of the storm gathering around her. One evening, as she stood in the cargo bay, she tried something new. She imagined flying. The armor responded, unfolding sleek wings of light. Energy hummed beneath her feet. She rose into the air, heart racing with joy and terror. She laughed. "I can fly!" Her voice echoed in the empty bay. For a moment, she forgot the fear, forgot the danger. She wasn't just a scavenger's daughter anymore. She was someone who could do impossible things. But the armor reminded her. A sudden vision slammed into her mind. She saw alien soldiers in the same armor, flying into battle only to fall one by one. She saw their last stand, their deaths, their cries. Alara fell to the ground, gasping. The armor wasn't just giving her power, it was showing her its past. And that past was full of death. Her father found her curled on the floor. He knelt beside her, voice soft for the first time in days. "Alara, listen to me. That thing, it's not a gift, it's a burden. You don't know what it wants." Alara looked at him, eyes wide. "Maybe it doesn't want anything. Maybe it just needed someone. And it chose me." Her father shook his head, but he couldn't argue. Deep down, he knew she was right. The next morning, alarms rang across the silver dawn. Incoming ships. The pilot shouted, "Not human! They're armed!" On the screen, 3 sleek alien fighters appeared, symbols glowing on their hulls. They moved with deadly purpose. Alara felt the armor stir before she even thought. It unfolded around her body, covering her in silver light. Her father grabbed her shoulder. "Stay hidden! Don't let them see you!" But it was too late. The alien ship sent a transmission. A cold voice filled the bridge. "Human vessel. You carry what does not belong to you. Surrender the Aegis, or be destroyed." Ilara's heart pounded. They had come for her. Her father's crew froze, terrified. No one could fight alien warships. But Alara wasn't no one anymore. She stepped forward, the armor gleaming. Her voice was shaky but steady enough. "No," she said. "You'll have to take it from me." The bridge went silent. Her father's eyes widened, torn between fear and pride. The aliens replied with a hiss. Then you will die. The fighters moved in, energy weapons charged. Alara felt the armor hum around her, alive with power, waiting for her command. The first time she realized what it meant. This wasn't a game. This wasn't a dream. The galaxy wanted the armor, and now it wanted her life. She clenched her fists. Then let's see what I can do. The armor flared with blinding light. The alien fighters moved in fast, cutting across the dark emptiness of space like sharp blades. Their weapons lit up, glowing with green fire. The silver dawn shook as the first volley slammed against its shields. Inside the bridge, alarms blared. The crew shouted, scrambling at their stations. Captain Vey gripped the controls, trying to steer the small salvage ship away. "We can't outrun them!" the pilot cried. Vey's jaw tightened. He knew the truth. His ship was no war vessel. Against alien fighters, they had no chance, unless... He turned, and his eyes fell on Alara. She stood tall, wrapped in the living silver armor, light glowing faintly across its surface. Her breathing was heavy, but her eyes were steady. "I can fight them," she said. Her father's face darkened. "No, you're just a child." "I'm not," Alara whispered. "Not anymore." The armor hummed as if agreeing. Another blast rocked the ship, throwing sparks across the bridge. One of the crew screamed as a console exploded. The alien voice returned through the comms, cold and sharp. "Last chance, human vessel. Surrender the Aegis, or be destroyed." Alara clenched her fists. She could feel the armor stirring, ready to unleash its power. Her father shook his head. "You don't know what it will do to you." Alara looked at him, her voice soft but strong. "If I don't fight, we're all dead. Let me try." For a moment, silence stretched between them. Then Captain Vey slowly nodded, his eyes heavy with fear and pride. "Go," he said, "but come back to me." The airlock opened, and Alara stepped into the cold void of space. At once, the armor unfolded, sealing her completely. Her body felt weightless, yet strong, as if the stars themselves carried her. The armor spread silver wings of light from her back, and energy thrummed beneath her feet. Then she launched forward. The alien fighters turned instantly, locking onto her. Blasts of green fire streaked across the darkness. Alara raised her hand, and a shield of blazing blue light formed around her. The bolt struck, but the shield held. Her heart raced. She wasn't just surviving, she was fighting. She thought of striking back, and the armor obeyed. A blade of pure energy extended from her arm. She swung it through the empty air, and a wave of light slashed across space, striking one of the alien ships. The fighter spun out of control, smoke trailing from its engines. Alara gasped. She hadn't even known she could do that. The other two fighters roared forward, weapons blazing. Alara twisted aside, the armor moving with impossible speed. Her body spun gracefully, like she had been trained all her life. The armor knew how to fight, and it was teaching her in every move. She darted behind one ship, her blade cutting through its engine. The ship exploded in a flash of green fire. Only one remained. The last fighter pulled back, as if realizing the truth. It sent another message, the alien voice filled with disbelief and rage. "A human! Where's the Aegis? Impossible!" Alara hovered in silence, her silver armor glowing in the darkness. The alien hissed. "Then you will die like the rest of its bearers." The fighter unleashed everything. Missiles, beams, fire. The stars lit up with destruction. Alara screamed, throwing both hands forward. The armor reacted instantly, forming a massive shield that wrapped around her body. Explosions ripped across its surface, but she stood unharmed. Then, with one final burst of energy, she launched forward. Her blade cut through the fighter's core. The last alien ship exploded, scattering fire across the void. Alara floated in silence, her chest rising and falling. Her hands shook. She had fought. She had survived. But even as the wreckage burned around her, the armor stirred again. A vision crashed into her mind. She saw a battlefield of countless worlds. Armored warriors like her stood together, wielding the same light. They cut through armies, unstoppable, invincible. But then she saw them fall, one by one, slaughtered by something vast and merciless. Their screams echoed in her head. And then she saw herself, standing where they had stood, the last bearer of the Aegis. "No," she whispered, clutching her helmet. "That's not me. That's not my future." But the whispers gave no answer. When she returned to the Silver Dawn, the crew stared in shock. They had watched her fight, watched her stand against alien ships alone. Some looked at her with awe, others with fear. Her father pulled her close, holding her shoulders. "You shouldn't have survived that," he said quietly. "But you did. And now the whole galaxy will know." He was right. Already signals were spreading through space. The aliens who sent those fighters had reported back before they died. The news would travel fast. The Aegis had returned, and it had chosen a human girl. Hours later, Ilara sat alone in her cabin again. The armor had folded back, leaving her in plain clothes, but she still felt its weight. She stared at her hands, remembering the light, the fire, the screams. Her father entered, silent for a long moment before speaking. "Do you understand what this means?" Ilara shook her head. "No, not really. It means," he said slowly, "that we can't hide anymore. Every faction, every empire, every warlord out there, they'll come for you. Some will want to use you. Others will want to kill you. None of them will leave you in peace." Ilara's chest tightened. "So what do we do?" Her father looked at her with tired eyes. "We run. We keep moving. And we hope the galaxy doesn't catch us." But deep down, Ilara knew it was already too late. Far away, across the stars, messages spread like wildfire. On the throne world of a vast empire, a warlord clenched his fists. "The Aegis belongs to me. Send the fleet." On a world of scholars, an alien elder whispered, "The prophecy is true. The human child has awakened it. The balance of the galaxy will break." And in darker corners, bounty hunters sharpened their blades, ready to chase the legend for glory and gold. Back on the Silver Dawn, Ilara stared out the viewport at the endless stars. She felt the armor humming softly, alive beneath her skin. She had won her first battle. But it was only the beginning. The galaxy was hunting her now, and no matter where she ran, she could never hide forever. She took a deep breath, her voice barely a whisper, then let them come. The armor flared with silver light, and the stars seemed to burn brighter. Ilara was ready. The Silver Dawn drifted quietly through a stretch of dark space. Its engines were low, its lights dim. Captain Vey had ordered silence across the ship. No signals, no noise, nothing that could give away their position, but both he and Ilara knew it was useless. The galaxy was already awake. Ilara sat by the viewport, watching the stars slip past. The armor rested inside her, hidden beneath her skin, but always there. She could feel it, warm, alive, whispering in the back of her mind. Every night, it gave her visions. She saw armies marching under alien skies. She saw worlds turn to ash. She saw armored warriors falling, their silver lights snuffed out. Each vision ended the same way, with silence, and with her standing alone. She woke each time with tears in her eyes. Her father tried to comfort her, but his words couldn't chase away the shadows. One day, as they floated in the quiet dark, alarms rang again. "Ships incoming!" The pilot shouted. Captain Vey rushed to the bridge. Ilara followed, her heart sinking. On the screen, 5 alien ships appeared, sleek, sharp, built for war. Their symbols glowed faintly. a faction her father didn't recognize. They found us, he whispered. The ships spread out, surrounding the Silver Dawn. A message came through, cold and commanding. Human vessel, we do not wish to destroy you. Surrender the Aegis bearer, and you may live. Alara's father cursed under his breath. They know. The crew turned, eyes full of fear, all of them looking at Alara. For a long moment, she froze. She had fought before, but this wasn't one or two fighters. This was a fleet. The armor stirred, responding to her fear. Light flickered faintly across her hands. She swallowed hard and stepped forward. "You'll never take it from me," she said. The aliens didn't. Wait for more words. Their weapons lit up, firing streams of energy at the Silver Dawn. The ship rocked violently. Alarms screamed. Sparks flew. "Alara!" her father shouted. "You can't fight them all!" "I have to try," she yelled back. The armor unfolded, wrapping around her body in silver light. Energy surged through her veins. The ship's airlock opened, and she launched into the stars. The alien fleet moved like wolves, circling their prey. Alara darted forward, her silver wings cutting across the darkness. The first enemy ship fired, and she spun, her shield flaring to block the blast. Another ship swooped in, missiles streaking toward her. She raised both hands, and the armor pulsed. Energy erupted outward, detonating the missiles before they reached her. She felt the armor guiding her, moving her faster, sharper, stronger. But it wasn't enough. For every attack she blocked, another came. The 5 ships were working together, tightening their trap. Her father's voice crackled in her ear. "Alara, fall back. We can't hold against them." "No," she said through clenched teeth. "I won't run." She darted forward, her blade flashing. With a swift strike, she cut through the first ship's weapons, sending it spiraling. But as she moved to attack the second, the armor froze. Visions slammed into her mind. She saw another bearer long ago standing where she stood now, surrounded by enemies, overwhelmed. She saw that warrior fall, their light extinguished. Alara gasped, her shield flickering. A blast slammed into her side, spinning her out of control. Her breath caught in panic. I can't do this." "The armor whispered, words she almost understood. Not commands, memories. It was showing her what had happened before. But she wasn't them. She clenched her fists. "I'm not like you," she whispered. "I'm human." And in that moment, something changed. The armor responded, not with another vision, but with power. New patterns of light spread across its surface, shifting like liquid. Alara thought quickly. The aliens expected her to fight with weapons, with shields, with brute force. That was what the past bearers had done. But humans thought differently. Humans improvised. She imagined something new. A trap. The armor obeyed. Her shield split into fragments, floating around her like silver sparks. She darted forward, weaving between the ships. As the aliens fired, the fragments caught their blasts, redirecting them back. The hunters became the hunted. One by one, their ships lit up with their own fire, their formations breaking. Alara moved faster, pushing harder, every thought creating new shapes, walls of light, beams that bent, wings that carried her farther. She wasn't following the armor's memories anymore. She was making her own. In minutes, 3 of the ships were wreckage. The 4th limped away, engines smoking. The last ship hesitated. Its comms opened, and the alien voice returned, shaken. "Furious, you are not worthy," it spat. "The Aegis will destroy you as it destroyed the rest." Alara floated in silence, her silver armor blazing in the dark. "Maybe," she said, "but not today." Her blade flashed. The last ship exploded. The battle was over. Alara drifted in the quiet, her chest heaving. She could still hear the whispers, but they were softer now. Not just warnings, acceptance. The armor was learning her, just as she was learning it. When she returned to the Silver Dawn, the crew stared in awe. None spoke. They had watched her turn hopeless odds into victory. Her father met her at the airlock. His eyes were heavy, but there was something else, too. Pride. "You're changing," he said quietly. Elara shook her head. "No, the armor is." But in truth, she knew both were true. That night she dreamed again. But this time, the vision was different. She saw the past bearers, yes. But she also saw herself, standing among them, not as their end, but as something new. The whispers didn't sound like warnings anymore. They sounded like trust. When she woke, she looked out at the stars. The galaxy was still hunting her. More enemies would come, stronger ones. But she was ready. She wasn't just surviving anymore. She was growing, and for the first time she believed the armor hadn't cursed her. It had chosen her. The stars burned brightly as the Silver Dawn cut through deep space. Warnings had come from every corner of the galaxy. The Aegis had awakened fully, and the galaxy's most powerful forces were gathering. Captain Vey gripped the controls tightly, his eyes on the displays. "They're coming," he said softly. Elara stood beside him, the armor gleaming across her body like liquid silver. Her heart beat with determination. She had fought before, and she had survived. But now it wasn't just a battle. It was the end game. In the distance, a massive fleet appeared, stretching beyond the horizon of the stars. At its center floated a colossal ship, black and jagged, radiating power. The alien warlord who had sent assassins and fleets for centuries waited there, ready to claim the Aegis for himself. Elara swallowed hard. She had never faced anything like this. But the armor whispered, not with fear, but with trust. "You can do this," it seemed to say. Captain Vey turned to her. "Elara, this is bigger than anything we've faced. You have to be careful." She shook her head. "Careful won't stop him. I have to fight." Her father's face was pale, but he nodded. He had always known humans were brave. Now he saw something more. They were unpredictable. The fleet moved in, thousands of weapons forming a wall across the void. Energy beams lit up space, hitting the Silver Dawn. The ship shook violently. Crew members screamed as consoles sparked and alarms blared. Elara didn't hesitate. She leapt into space, her wings of light carrying her forward like a comet. The armor flared with silver brilliance. Every movement was precise, every thought connected to the Aegis. The first wave of enemy ships tried to trap her, but she didn't fight them the way the aliens expected. She changed the battlefield. Energy shields split, reshaped into barriers that cut the ships off from each other. Beams of redirected fire hit the enemy ships, sending them spinning. She used speed no alien could match, weaving between weapons and attacks. She was no longer just defending. She was creating, improvising, adapting. Then the warlord appeared. His ship was enormous, surrounded by a glowing shield of energy. A voice boomed across the void. "Human," it said. "Give me the Aegis. It belongs to me by right." Ilara's heart pounded. "It belongs to no one but me," she shouted. The warlord fired his weapons. Massive energy blasts tore toward her. The armor expanded, forming shields that bent light and fire away. She soared closer, faster, the silver wings cutting through darkness. Visions flashed in her mind, the past bearers, the battles, the destruction. But this time, she saw a choice. She could follow their path, ending in death, or she could think differently. She clenched her fists. "I'm not them," she whispered. The Aegis pulsed, responding to her words, shifting like liquid silver. Elara attacked. She didn't just strike at the warlord's ship. She used her imagination, creating barriers, blades, and traps that the aliens couldn't predict. Energy erupted around her, forming shapes that no alien warrior had ever seen. The warlord's fleet tried to counter, but they were too rigid, too precise. Ilara's creativity allowed her to move faster than their calculations, strike harder than their machines, and adapt in ways the past bearers never could. She was human. That was the difference. Blasts hit her armor, but it absorbed them, growing, stronger with each strike. She felt the armor's memory merge with her own will. It had trusted her. Now she trusted herself. The warlord's ship loomed closer. Energy spikes shot out, trying to pierce the armor. Ilara closed her eyes for a moment and focused. She imagined the energy forming a mirror around the enemy ship, reflecting every attack back at it. The warlord's shields shimmered and cracked. He shouted in rage. "Impossible! How can a human—" Ilara didn't wait for him to finish. With a sudden burst, she struck the ship directly with a blade of pure energy. The hull cracked. Explosions erupted, shaking the enemy fleet. Ships panicked, retreating as their leader's flagship was destroyed. The warlord tried to flee, but the Aegis flared again. Ilara flew faster than thought, catching him in a blast of silver light. His ship exploded, leaving nothing behind but debris. The battle was over. The galaxy fell silent for a moment, as if holding its breath. No one had ever seen a human wield the Aegis like this. Aliens across the stars received the news. The human girl had defeated a warlord and his fleet alone. Back on the Silver Dawn, the crew cheered, hugging each other in disbelief. Captain Vey looked at his daughter, tears in his eyes. You did it," he whispered. Ilara floated in. The cargo bay, breathing hard. The armor had folded back around her body, resting like a second skin. She looked at her hands, still glowing faintly with silver light. She realized something important. The Aegis was powerful, yes, but it had not made her invincible. Her heart, her creativity, and her courage had. In the days that followed, the galaxy began to change. Alien factions who had feared the armor now approached humans differently. They realized that humanity was not just another species. Humans could think differently, improvise, and adapt in ways their advanced technology could not. Ilara became a symbol, not just of power, but of human potential. Stories spread across star systems. The human girl who wielded the armor of legends and turned the tide of war. Some tried to find her, some came to challenge her. But she had learned to move with caution and strategy, and the armor had fully bonded with her, responding instantly to her will. One evening, Ilara stood on the Silver Dawn's observation deck. The stars stretched infinitely before her. She could feel the armor humming softly beneath her skin. Memories of the past bearers had faded, replaced by her own experiences, her own victories. Captain Vey came beside her. "The galaxy will never forget this," he said. Ilara smiled faintly. "Neither will I, but I have to remember. It's not the armor that made me strong. It's me." Her father nodded. "Yes, and humanity will show them more. The galaxy has never seen what we can do." Ilara looked out at the stars, feeling a mixture of hope and responsibility. She had survived impossible battles, faced enemies who thought humans were weak, and proven them wrong. The Aegis was no longer just a weapon. It was a legacy, and she would use it to protect the galaxy, not conquer it. For the first time, she felt truly invincible, not because of the armor, but because she was human.